revision of the Film Fury podcast. This is going to be a commentary show, definitely inspired by the likes of Patrick Rapole and Romero Tudor, two guys that I listen to quite a bit. And here with me today is my family, my daughter.
Hi, I'm Niobe.
My wife, our programmer.
Hello, I'm Callie.
And tonight we are going to be watching Five Nights at Freddy's. This is not our first time viewing it. We actually went to the screening of it last night, and now we are watching it, like a lot of people, on Peacock, and we're going to go ahead and do our commentary, which will hopefully have comedy added. And like most of you guys, you're probably watching it at home on Peacock. So if you want to follow along, we're set up right after the Peacock symbol fades out and right before the Universal symbol starts.
6 seconds.
6 seconds into it. Thank you, Nat. And countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So Five Nights at Freddy's, my entire connection to this particular property is from the game, thanks to my daughter, who plays it quite a bit. So Callie and I walked into this. Well, actually, I think even Callie probably has a little more knowledge on the game than I do. So I walked in totally kind of blind for the most part, aside from recognizing a few of the characters. So I was just kind of in for, hopefully, for a really good horror film, PG-13 rated horror movie. You see the Blumhouse symbol there? Did you see Michael Myers out there? But it is what it is. All right, so Nye, you were really excited for this, obviously, because you have played this game, and as you say, it's part of your childhood.
It is.
So we walk in. This is the first scene. What were you thinking when we saw this?
Well, obviously, no other security guards have been introduced to the game other than Michael. So I thought this was a little new, considering that we get to see the older or like the recent security guard before Mike. I thought that was a cool addition to let people know that this wasn't the first time this happened.
All right, so right here, Callie definitely made a point to elbow me at this point, because for me, being an ex-HVAC technician installer, I'm always criticizing heating and air systems in movies and video games.
Unrealistic.
So exactly, they're completely unrealistic because you cannot crawl through ductwork. It's really not unless you're a very tiny animal or very small person. You're not going to be able to do that. So
Even in commercial buildings.
Even in a commercial building, you'd be hard pressed to be able to
Fit in
crawl
the air
through one and get in. Not to mention, they always put the output, which is what actually produces your cold air or your hot air. They usually mix it up with the return, and they use the wrong vents.
That's fair, but like in general, in the game, like the vents are like overly big to the point animatronics
All of your video
really
games,
fit through.
all of your video games do these types of things, which is really fun.
Because it's spooky, you don't know where they are.
Oh, I mean inaccuracies with heating and air systems.
Exactly.
Is what I'm talking about.
That'd be the worst heating.
So we have our first death in the movie.
Well,
Potentially. Okay, here we go.
we haven't got to that.
We haven't got to that.
Oh my god, I love this. It reminds me of a Saw Trap.
It does. It does look like a Saw movie.
This was
actually.
really creative, actually.
Was this in the game?
No, it's not. Like
So
the closest I've ever gotten to like one of like these kind of traps was the scooping room, and that's in Sister Location. The scooping room is basically, well, one of the main antagonists, Circus Baby, says that kids use it for ice cream on their birthdays. But originally, the person you're playing as, spoilers, but literally gets scooped in the stomach with it.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that's like the closest I've ever gotten to like.
That is wild.
Yeah. It would.
And then you have your first needle drop.
Well, this is actually just the opening theme.
Oh.
Yeah, they don't play the
Not yet.
song yet.
Okay.
I thought the soundtrack was actually pretty good.
I like the score. The score is interesting, and of course the music.
Scott Cawthon, woo!
Scott Cawthon, I finally realized through my daughter is the creator of the video game, so he's like royalty to her, kind of thing, like John
definitely.
Carpenter is to me.
Oh, the yellow bunny.
Spring Trap.
Spring trap.
See, now all these things were new to me, so I was just taking it all in.
I love that little thing where like they use like the 3D characters because
They're
in the
very
game they did
pixelated.
show like scenes with that. Like for example, the Bite of '87, it was like in that kind of art style or whatever.
Okay.
I do
Woo!
Now, is any of this imagery in the games itself? Is it
No, this
very
is like
2D,
this. I mean, yeah,
pixelated?
it is like a pixelated art.
This
but
reminds me of that one game,
which one?
the one where
House?
you're a girl.
Yeah, House. That's House.
Is that House?
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, I love that game. I was obsessed with it for like a while.
But that art style reminds me of House.
Yeah, except more like pixelaty and obviously more 80s.
So now, had we taken you to Chuck E. Cheese before you discovered the world of Five Nights?
Absolutely, because if I knew Five
Yeah.
Nights at Freddy's, like during I went,
You would have
Chuck E.
freaked out when we took you there.
yeah, no,
Because
Wasn't it the
do you
fifth birthday
remember?
party?
Mhm.
Was that the Pokemon birthday party?
It was. It was the one where I got my 3DS.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. So yeah, she had.
Mhm.
Right. So we're introduced to Josh Hutcherson, who my wife and I were familiar with him from
Hunger
Zathura.
Games.
Zathura,
Oh,
Yeah,
where he was just a little frat.
Yeah.
And here he is. You know, he actually looks extremely
Grown man.
cool, older, and everything. And I was really impressed with him throughout this entire movie, actually. So we're introduced to him as Mike, who is a different character in the video game.
Oh, a completely different character.
Here, Mike is the brother of young Abby, who we're about to be introduced to. You get the idea the parents have passed away, and he is taking care of his sister.
His minor sister.
Yeah,
So apparently doesn't like to sleep in beds.
which is kind of weird.
No, because I did that as a kid. I think Mama did that
Those
as a
are
kid.
kind of scary when you're young, though. Like when the lights are off. or
But she's
whatever.
making a fort. It's different.
I mean,
Fort is different than a tent.
okay. Well, it's shaped like a tent, so.
Okay. Well, that's what she-
in theory.
Though the dream remains sleep. Once the living and experience the first time, no longer past.
When you can turn on the
Now, do you recall a short film on Hulu that freaked you out?
Hug. Oh my
Hug?
god, Hug.
Do you remember?
They need to make that
Sure.
into a feature film.
Oh,
Hug was a
it
short film
very
on
similar
The
Hulu.
one
to
with the panda.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that freaked the heck out of me when I was younger.
Now, was that before or after Five Nights was created? That was after, right?
It was after.
It was after, I'm sure.
So obviously, whoever directed that short film was inspired by
Oh yeah.
the video game. So it's sort of interesting to see how many other films came out during the time of the game
Yeah.
and actually beat the movie version of this to the punch. Because
Mhm.
we have the Hug, we have the Banana Splits movie,
Oh,
which
Banana
if anyone
Splits.
has seen that, is the same essential concept.
Mhm.
And then of course the Nicolas Cage movie, which is very similar to Five Nights.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I thought this was really cool here.
Where he started on that guy.
But I like how they're able to build this because you think Mike is just very overzealous in his job. He's being a security man.
He sees this child being dragged away, so his immediate reaction is, "Oh, stranger danger! This guy is kidnapping this kid."
Fight or flight.
And his immediate reaction is to chase down this guy.
Start punching the heck out of him.
And beat the living out of him. Yes. But what's great about it is how it adds to the story of you realize, okay, this is why he reacted the way he did.
Mhm. I can't see him as anything else but Stu.
I don't know. I see him as Shaggy. I see him as Stu. I see him as his character in Hackers.
It's a pet.
Yes, well, because we have a longer viewing history of him,
Mhm.
so
Well,
of
I know.
course we're going to know him from other stuff.
I mean, I know about Shaggy. Only Stu and Shaggy. That's pretty much it.
Oh, there it is, Daddy.
Why does that kid look so underwhelmed about it? Look at
He's
the
in
sound.
shock. He's
He didn't
stressed
sound
that
it.
his dad's getting attacked.
Our daughter is one of the more critical 12-year-olds when it comes to acting in movies and movie
Because
storylines.
I've seen some pretty bad acting.
He's fine.
Mm.
Just trying to figure out who you are.
Matthew Illard is really wild. I love him as his character.
What's Michael's name in this movie? Because I know it's not Afton like it was in the game.
Honest with you, Mike, give me your track record, your options.
Mike Schmidt.
Because in the game,
It was
with
Michael Afton.
Right.
Okay.
Now, earlier today, I went ahead and watched a 10-minute lore video on how do you pronounce it? Canif, is that how you kids say it? Canif. What do you say?
Kenneth? What?
No, Fanif. How do you pronounce it?
FNAF.
FNAF. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so I watched that, and I can see what you're saying because Nye, at the end of the movie, talked more about it. She was a little critical of the way they handled the film because, of course, I'm looking at it through the eyes of this is just a horror film.
Mm-hmm.
She had a lot of critiques about it, but I watched a video on the lore, and I can see what they did and why they did it. They needed to consolidate certain characters and situations because a film is obviously a little more difficult to make than a direct adaptation of the video game. Video
And they have
games, you're
a lot
playing.
less to work with.
Well,
It's not like a book where you have a pretty solid foundation for lore.
I could debate on that.
We're all lots of people like to come up with their own theories rather than it being a solid, okay, this is what it is because the creator decided that this is the lore.
Yeah, I got most of my theories off of like FNAF theorists, like Matt Pat, which was in this movie, and oh my god!
Spoilers.
Now the production design in this, I really love the production design. Callie and I were talking about how you really can't pinpoint. You can't pinpoint an actual year per se.
In the early 2000s?
No,
Well, in the game, you're referring to the game.
No.
Right.
Like literally during the camera, like the security camera shot, it had its date and it said 2000.
Okay, so we were close. We were saying late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Because all the technology, you don't see any flat screen TVs. The cell phones are very primitive by today's standards.
They're flip phones and like the old school Nokia, the one piece.
One piece, yeah.
And then they also got that the mixtape thing.
And that's something I sort of appreciate, actually. I like the idea of being able to set it in a timeline where people can still recognize everything. There's not a huge amount of distance between them and technology, but still be able to just have a little level of uniqueness to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of nice to see a movie where the cars aren't current and the cell phones are current. Not just because you rope yourself in sometimes trying to deal with the technology of the time, like, oh, they have a cell phone, they're going to get out of this situation or they'll get out of that. I think it just opens yourself creatively to just be able to tell a story without worrying about someone bringing it up and relating it to today's technology or issues.
Disowned. If my child ever had an imaginary friend, no thank you. Disowned. Put up for adoption.
Yeah, it's a nice burn here. Makes you stupid.
No, call them an idiot.
Right.
That's not a burn. She likes her imaginary friends.
I have mixed feelings about John Hutcherson. I mean,
Josh.
Josh. My gosh, I'm so sorry, Josh. I mean, he's ready, but also not pretty.
Okay, well, I, as your father, judging his performance as him, and I think he's doing an extremely good job for a guy who used to be a kid.
No,
actor.
I mean like his looks.
Oh, he looks. Oh my gosh,
No.
you're so tough. Just because
No,
he doesn't look like
no, I'm
5.
complimenting. I'm saying that he looks pretty, but like obviously is not the age point that
Okay,
I
well
prefer.
let's go from looks right now. Let's go into the
His
element of the
performance.
storyline that is happening right now.
He's a good actor.
This was one of the parts of the story that I immediately got pulled into and appreciated. I love dreams in film overall, and I love this whole dream theory book that he's reading. And now you're into really something I did not expect out of the movie,
Mm.
which even you didn't expect it, correct? Because there's no part of dreams in the game,
And there's no Garrett.
which we learn is Mike's younger brother, who
Mhm.
during a camping kind of barbecue
Should
thing
I
going
explain
on.
all the differences at the end of the movie?
Yeah, we can do that right overall. I'd
Yeah.
say.
I can tell everybody what's
We
supposed
thought-
to be wrong.
We really thought his name was Derek at first.
We weren't the only ones. I heard people talking behind us too. I heard a little kid
Derek,
talking to his
Derek.
mom,
Derek?
and she's like, "No." And I think someone even said the wrong name, Darren. I think
Oh.
someone said it's like, no, Garrett. Like, oh.
Garrett. I'm pretty sure Garrett's one of the names of the missing children. Actually,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm pretty certain.
See, now this is just really great imagery because I know as a kid I was afraid of being kidnapped because of what we heard in the news all the time. And as an adult, as a parent, I'm like, oh Jesus. And it's something that doesn't get dealt with in movies very much.
Or at least not like this.
No, not in. I won't say it seems taboo in horror films, but they just don't go to that level.
And I feel like this is a trauma that's being dealt with the right way. You want to show people how emotionally damaged this has left him, but what is he doing?
Yeah, what's interesting? Did you
Oh,
even
this is
you?
the aunt. Okay.
Yeah, it's the aunt played by Mary Stuart Masterson, who was like one of the queens of 1980s, teen comedies and John Hughes and movies of that sort.
Okay, I don't think.
And and his aunt, she's the stereotypical, mean.
Family member who's
Yeah.
just really trying to get the most out of her family financially rather than emotionally and being there to support
I
them.
love the lawyer. The lawyer.
Yeah, Mama didn't like the lawyer. I thought the lawyer was funny. I thought
I didn't say that I didn't like him. I felt that he was unnecessary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that
I
unnecessary.
think to a point you need a counterbalance for her. I think essentially.
I mean, if they added like some, how do I say this without spoiling anything? If they added some very well-known people into the movie already, then it's
I think it is cool that he has someone on his side, being
The teacher.
the teacher.
not everyone's
She's
Or is he a
definitely.
teacher or a doctor?
I think that's
I
the
think she's a
teacher.
doctor.
Oh, is she a therapist? Okay. I know she definitely has a hand in whether or not Abby's going to stay with him or go to the aunt, obviously. But it's cool to see her supporting him.
Because she understands that Abby does find her brother important in her life.
He's part of all of her pictures and everything.
Yep.
She makes a point to say, you are the centerpiece. His performance, it's really wild because you mentioned the whole thing about trauma, which of course, trauma is the catchword of like any horror movie made over the last 15 years, and it's become like a cliche. It's ridiculous after a while. And between this and last year's Nope, I think you have two fine examples of not only two really good actors being able to show trauma on to me a true realistic level. This whole kind of detachment of situations and the people, you can just see it in their face. And he very much like OJ and Nope, you can feel everything he's going through. And he is very believable to me as this character going through this. And of course, he's had a change of heart because
His sister.
his sister's that important to him. Now, they did do something there that I joked about a lot recently with family members when it comes to watching newer movies. When you watch something like The Shining back in the day and they did a helicopter shot over a vehicle, you know how hard they had to work to earn that. Well, now movies just pull out those type of shots all the time because you have drones. Here, I thought it was interesting. They did an extreme wide shot of the vehicle. So at least I think the director went out of her way with her director of photography and everything to say, okay, well, let's try to make it a little different because everyone's doing those shots now. I think visually, I think the movie's really, it's a good looking movie.
Yes.
Yeah, you can definitely tell it's still digital. You can just see the nuances here and there, especially with some of the lights,
The quality.
any bright lights.
But I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's still very well composed, in my opinion. I like the contrast.
He's explaining the rules.
Yes.
Yeah, the rules of what he has to do when he comes in. Pretty
So
clear.
in the game, is it similar to this too?
Or
Or does it just flash you text? I
to
mean,
be honest, a guy like this never talks to you. In the beginning of the game, a guy named Phone Guy calls you. Actually, he's like, "Okay, you're gonna have to do stuff. The animatronics get a little quirky at night, blah blah blah." And then he just tells you to stay safe or whatever, and then you just go on with your day.
okay.
What's kind of bad about that is like if the game starts while he calls you, if you don't stop the call, then it can like drown out some essential sounds you need in the game to survive.
Oh.
Like it can distract you.
So, what would cause him to not call you first?
What do you mean?
Phone guy. Like, why would he call you in the middle of your shift?
Because he's supposed to be helping you. You're a new employee, so he's gonna explain all the rules to you.
So instead of a video to watch, like they comically do
No.
here.
Yeah, no, it's just a phone call and then okay, you're on your own.
It's all that they're using yet again. It's closed circuit TV. All the TVs are old school.
Black and white.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any flat screens. Matthew Lillard.
I was kind of hoping for more, like, is it pronounced ambiance or ambience?
Ambiance.
I was hoping for more ambiance inside of the office because in the game, it's so eerie. Like, there's the hum of like the light above you, and then there's the fan going on and whatever. It's just so quiet, but yet so loud to the point that you might not hear things due to the sound of the fan or the light or something. It freaks me out.
And
This
that's
is
the way-
cool. They still use VCRs, which is neat.
Yeah.
You know, I found this funny night because both your mama and I can laugh at things like this because we've had jobs where you actually have to watch some cheesy video. You know, this,
Your orientation video.
and they do. They basically they leave the room. They leave you there watching something.
You gotta
and
watch a 15, 20-minute video.
they'll check in on you or come in at the end and say, "All right, so let's get you your shirt or name tag, whatever you're doing at that point."
Mhm.
So I thought this was pretty well done, even the cheesy little wipes and everything.
Mhm.
It seems pretty genuine to the time that it was.
Well, that was the thing, yeah.
Even the lady acting.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
that's great. She works for the company, and they're just like, "All right, Katie, you gotta go in there," or whatever her name is. I'm sure she said her name. It's on the name tag.
Don't get me wrong, I love the original designs for the animatronics, but some people who know about like the FNAF VHS tapes that are made by other animators and stuff, and like people who made different models of the animatronics on letters to make them look more 80s, and not only that, but more creepy and threatening looking.
Yes.
Like, I wish they would have designed it like that, to be honest, because I feel like it would have been much more effective
Genuine?
and scary. Yeah, and then there's some fan art that actually make it look like there's a person inside of the suit. Like, either of those two would have been completely fine with me.
Okay.
Now the creator of the game,
Oh,
yeah, it's like our
boy.
second scare scene, I guess, throughout the whole movie.
Maybe.
Phoebe.
I used to hate that guy.
And
And I do remember him in terms of
Turn
the
you around.
imagery. Yeah, I like the turn around.
I used to do that with like the Chucky dolls you would put around your office. I'd turn them around.
I remember that.
Boxing.
Yeah, my Chucky action figure that my oldest gave me. It bothered her quite a bit, and I would come into my office area, and it would be turned around.
I was like,
What is going on?
can't jump at me if you turned around.
Starting to make me think that Chucky was lying. Okay, so the creator of the game, he probably had his own kinder trauma going on
Your trauma.
to create
Oh
this
my
game,
god.
because it's really funny because it seems to be a common fear that kids had when they were taking the Chuck E. Cheese. Your daughter didn't have that fear because my mom couldn't afford Chuck E. Cheese for us, so it was really high end. So I never went to these places, but I saw the commercials for it. But apparently, as I understand it, quite a few people were terrified of these things. Did you ever go to a Chuck E. Cheese as a kid?
It's because of Uncanny Valley.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking to Mama because it's more her age bracket.
Yeah.
Very much like you. We didn't go to Chuck E. Cheese or anything of the like. Not because of, I think, the financial end of it. Probably more because it just wasn't something that we celebrated culturally.
Right.
Like, we had birthday parties at the house. We pretty much just went out for food, but never actually went to a Chuck E. Cheese or anything like that.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think I was ever invited to anybody who had a party at Chuck E. Cheese at that age.
Yeah, neither did I.
Like, I don't know. I venture to say maybe even 13 seems a little old for Chuck E. Cheese. So
by that time, yeah, you're having
Yeah.
different types of birthday
yeah,
parties.
exactly. So
Laser tag,
as a
things like
child, birthday parties would consist of just being at a house. And being in a Filipino household, what does that mean? You have the big house party.
that.
that's
Yeah, you're
celebrating
eating
kids' birthday.
rice, you're eating pancakes,
Yeah,
you're
we don't
eating, yeah.
So, speaking of Scott, I don't really know about any kinder trauma he's had about animatronics, but he said before that he hasn't had any nightmares about any of his animatronics except for Bonnie. And it was like 10 times creepier inside of his nightmares. Like, Bonnie was a genuine fear of his because of his nightmares. And I just think that's like,
Is this the first time that we see?
So now we're in the second dream now.
yeah.
But we
Right.
actually get to see it from beginning
Mhm.
to end of the
The-
sequence, right?
Right. And this is the introduction of the kids, who at this point are remaining a mystery ghost. And I love the positioning of the kids.
Yeah,
Is it okay if I could tell everybody who they are?
sure.
Okay, so basically, the kids that you see right now are, in fact, the animatronics. So instead of there being 4, there's actually 5. But I don't think they've ever showed Golden Freddy inside of this movie, because Golden Freddy, I'm not sure Golden Freddy's origin, to be honest. But so there was 4 children that were representing the animatronics, but the 5th one is Charlie. And Charlie was actually inside of Golden Freddy, so that's why there's 5 of them. I was a little confused about that at first until I brought Charlie back into the picture.
That was a great transition from dream to the real world. I like that.
I don't know
He
how
fell out of his chair,
Yeah, definitely. That echoes Wes Craven. He would do that type of stuff.
just like he fell in his dream.
Mm.
And it's 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oof.
You made it a night.
Mhm.
He survived the night.
Interesting.
This was a little strange in how they introduced her. They don't really give you any idea until.
Pretty much just a babysitter.
Yeah, but you didn't know if like
He
she's
was
a
like,
neighbor, were they
girlfriend.
romantically? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, at first I thought maybe she was maybe sweet on him kind of a thing. She
Yeah.
makes a comment about
The wedding ring, or ring by me, or anything like that.
right. So
Because in this beginning, we don't actually know that Abby's his sister until it's mentioned.
yeah.
So you don't know if he's a dad.
Well, I kind of suspected he was just,
so now we're introduced to the twist subplot that the babysitter and it's presumably her boyfriend probably since she
Yeah.
mentioned the ring.
Yeah.
And they are working for the evil aunt.
A game theory.
I do love that. I love the waiter. That's really great.
Yeah, it's Matt.
Lunch
He's
is the most-
like a
Oh, he's
super
in the game. Okay.
Oh no, he's not in the game, but he's like a super duper popular FNAF theorist.
Okay, he's one of the YouTubers.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then that's one of the things he says. It's like it's just a theory, a game theory.
So that's why you laughed at that. Okay.
'Cause
I
I'm
just
so
thought it was a funny
excited.
line. The whole thing about lunch is the most important meal of the day.
This theory.
It's breakfast. It's like just a theory. I thought it was great.
I actually love is inclusion a word?
Or Injo. Or
No.
inclusion.
No, like including other people. Like I love how much they included like people who are associated with the game back then.
Ah, I see. Yes.
Not really in the game, but obviously people knew them.
The community surrounding it.
Exactly, the fandom.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
See, but on the upside, the people they included, at least they were very good at what they do. They have charm on camera compared to a lot of cameos
They could
that
act
people
really
will
well.
force into a movie and they're horrible, and you're just like, I really wish you weren't in this movie.
I would ask you for some examples, but I don't think that'd be very kind to point out.
Yeah,
Not off the top of my head.
And see, we find out that she is the evil aunt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy's not nice either, but
He looks emo. He's got the hair swoop covering his eye too.
well, it was the year 2000.
I don't think
They were
people-
fighting the 90s into the future.
I mean, that's fair.
fresh off the heels of grunge.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. And into the world of putting foundation as your lipstick.
Oh,
Right? You've never seen people like that?
I'm sure
And then
they
the people
exist.
who fry their hair and stuff.
I really do like the casting, though. I think everyone in this,
Oh yeah.
there's no one who's really out of place.
Well,
Because even the actress playing the babysitter, you do get the idea that she doesn't like what she's doing. You know,
She was
She
just
feels
doing
bad
this for
about
money
it.
at first, but then she started having feelings for them as a
that's
family.
fair. But
Like she's,
well,
you know what? He's a nice guy. He's just
Mhm.
working really hard to take care of his sister.
I love it.
It's taking my vest.
That is a great line.
I think it's his mannerisms that make me question whether or not I find him pretty. You know, most of the people I like, even if they aren't physically attractive, it's the mannerism and characteristics they have, like
I don't understand.
motion
you.
wise, like
That's
Oh my
that's
goodness.
that's
You know-
that's not uncommon now.
exactly like there's people who fall in love with other people because of their mannerisms. Like, you know how some guys will, like, when you like bend down to like pick something up near a table and there's like a sharp corner, and then they like cover it with their hands so that when you get back up you don't accidentally like, bump your head onto the sharp thing. Like, that's
Very chivalrous.
Yeah.
Okay.
So apparently that has happened to you.
no.
Alright, I don't want to have a conversation about my daughter's interaction with the male species.
No, nobody's done that to me.
So we're into
Yeah,
the
exactly.
third dream of Mike's at this point.
Mm,
And once again, same recurrent dream of his brother being driven away
mhm.
and the kids reappearing.
Okay. so
Slightly off stance now.
left to right, who are the kids?
Okay, left to right. So one with the bunny ears is obviously Bonnie. This one right here.
The
This
blonde.
This one's Charlie. No, this one's, I can't remember his name, but it's Freddy.
Okay.
And the boy in the middle,
The ginger.
the ginger, I'm pretty sure that's Fritz. That's Foxy. And the
And then Cha, is that her name?
No.
Chica's the
Chica,
girl.
okay.
You know, where's Charlie then? Why is there 5 of them?
The one with the hat.
That-
It's like a white.
Okay,
Okay.
maybe the one with the hat is Freddy.
Oh.
But then the
Oh
blonde,
god.
That's
but
real.
then the blondie's Charlie. I'm not sure why Charlie is a guy now, but okay.
And here goes the recurrent needle drop.
It's me. Oh my god, I love the little "it's me" on the computer.
Yeah, that is cool.
No, the
I like that.
mirror. Yeah, it's shown up in games before, I think.
Why does it say it's me?
It's just like a normal. It's just like a FNAF thing in general. I can't really remember where it came from, but it's just like a certain phrase. Just like how Springtrap says, "I always come back." It's just like one of those things. This is weird because Vanessa. There's another character in FNAF named Vanessa, but she's in Security Breach, and she wasn't in the time frame of Mike at all. She was like in the future or whatever, so it's kind of confusing.
Well, again, they have to move stuff around and use all the lore at their disposal in order to make a good movie.
Mm.
You have to remember, it's very difficult to adapt something, to take something that, like a game which you play for hours. Cool little kind of nod to Nightmare on Elm Street to a point. The idea that he's injured just like he was in his dream.
Mm.
Yes.
But it's very difficult now to be able to do that. Imagine if you had a book that you were adapting and it's like 800 pages. Well, 800 pages is hard to get down to a 2-hour movie. So sometimes you have to just consolidate or manipulate things to where you still have the spirit of what's intended, but it may be different.
Mm.
So very much like, I don't know if you're going to get into this when you're older, but Game of Thrones
No.
is a book series first. And when they turn it into a show, they had to cut out a lot of the characters because there's a butt ton of characters. There's a lot. And in doing so, they altered the characters that they put on the show. Some of them were kind of combined, some of them were cut out completely. And so for this, they just decided that instead of having Vanessa be in a future movie, possibly, they're just going to plop her down here.
Mm. That's interesting considering Vanessa was really never a major character in Security Breach, other than being an antagonist.
They're using her in here for their purposes. And I think it works.
Mm.
And you gotta, and something I think you undermine a little bit is the fact that the creator of the game co-wrote the movie. So
yes, I know.
a lot of his ideas, I think, obviously came from him of, well, let's do this, or this is what I would have done if I needed to consolidate these characters or these situations.
Security hires.
It's hot down here.
What?
Because you're covering yourself with a blanket.
It's still hot even when I remove it.
Okay.
Are you okay?
No.
Drink your tea.
It's not gonna make me any.
Yes, they will cool you down.
No, it won't.
Okay, back to the movie.
This kid's going to sleep.
What did you just say?
Prepare to have your mind blown.
So here we get another music drop once again, and we actually get to see the animatronics at work. And this is Foxy, right? The one who just popped up?
Yeah, Foxy, Bonnie, Freddy, and Chica.
Now, here's my thing. All of these animatronics except Foxy make sense. I can't see Foxy being created for anything because it's too terrifying looking. And it's got a hook for her hand. Even though it's meant to be a pirate, I got you. But that thing is terrifying compared to the other ones.
Yeah, the other one's soft and rounded corners and everything.
I mean,
Foxy's very sharp looking.
Yeah,
It's just terrifying.
I never really got that. I assumed that like Foxy is one of the older animatronics, I suppose. Either that or they were trying to make him look a little effed up because, he's a pirate. And pirates are overall
Missing limbs and
missing apparently parts of their body. Foxy's one of my favorite characters, actually. In the game, what is it? Help Wanted, where it's like a VR game. Where you get to work as one of the employees, and if you die on one of like Foxy's levels, he literally runs at you, and it's just so scary.
It was pretty good.
That thing's really made out of metal.
It is.
Well, you can hear it.
Oh, think.
Yeah, it's got the clinking noise, and it seems pretty heavy.
Really advice. Don't let this place get to you.
Yeah, the town is called what again? Because it says GFPD, and I know in the lore video they gave the name.
Nebraska. This is in Nebraska.
Well, but the city is called what?
I don't know. We
Is it
never.
Great Falls?
Hold on.
I think it is something to that effect.
You
They
mean
said-
in the game or in the movie?
in the game.
In the game, okay.
Yeah.
So I think it might take place over multiple. Hold on.
So there's the Nokia One Piece.
Hurricane Utah. Oh, in the 6th game. This is in the 6th game. It is
You mean
but-
Utah?
Utah.
Hurricane.
Yeah, no problems at Freddy's 5. Freddy 5.
All right, now this part of the storyline is interesting because in Willy's Wonderland, which is the Nicolas Cage movie
Mhm.
that definitely apes Five Nights lore, if you will, they break in to go ahead and destroy the place, but for different reasons in Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah.
They're actually out to destroy the animatronics. You have a very interesting lot of kind of thugs.
Bronies.
Yeah, very bizarre.
Felipe.
You got the one guy who looks like they could be their dad.
The older gents.
Yeah.
All of these guys do not look like.
Then you got the one who's practically a child looking.
I'm pretty sure he's just.
He's very short.
Mm.
I venture to say he probably gets it the worst.
Yeah. There's that, but I was kind of expecting like the absolute worst for him because he's in the kitchen.
Now there's another.
Okay, so yeah.
You probably heard motorcycles outside. We get a lot of traffic in our area.
But anyway, I was expecting the worst for him because kind of.
So Blumhouse made another movie. It was either last year or the year before called Megan, and that was released as a PG-13. And when it came out on video, they released an unrated version because there was more violence and gore that they actually cut out. And I read a thing today that the director said there will be no uncut version of this because apparently everything they put on film is what they wanted. So they never did get very explicit with the violence and the gore.
Which is bullcrap because didn't they say before that they weren't holding back on the gore?
That's what you said. That's what you read.
That's what I heard.
Oh,
I feel like it would have been much
cake to
better.
the face.
Yeah. I feel like it would have been much better if they didn't hold
Oh,
back
that
on the
look.
gore.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
These animatronics very creepy.
You
Yeah,
know
I
what would
find
make
them
it even
menacing.
creepier?
Anything that's bigger than a human.
This guy reminds me of a chubby version of the guy from Breakout King, the one who was in Unhinged as the friend, the lawyer. That's what this guy reminds me of.
Oh no!
I mean, like, yeah, but these
I
guys,
love this guy's scream. This guy's scream is wonderful.
these animatronics are scary,
The
but
older gent.
they could be scarier.
Oh, door's locked. Why can't you get out?
It's canon that Bonnie's the most aggressive, actually.
Oh,
He's the one who probably did this guy.
Did I get you a Bonnie action figure? Don't you have a Bonnie?
No.
That
that's great.
is great.
Excellent.
I want to see Bonnie visibly chomping down on this guy. Where is it?
That cupcake thing is great, though. What's it called? Is it cupcake? Is it
Oh.
what it's called? Or is there a name for
I'm
it?
pretty sure it's just Cupcake. Let me see.
No, but I love cupcake because it reminds me of like if Pac-Man was real. That's a good shot.
See, how can that not be scary to you? Nana?
Mr. Cupcake.
If I was in a haunted house
What?
or some type of
How could
thing,
that not
where
be
you walk
scary?
through and you
I
see
mean,
that come out,
obviously.
that would terrify me.
I mean,
And I was wondering, why is this dude toting around these tokens when they're not worth anything? If they're actual quarters, then yeah, that makes sense.
But I guess his goal was to go ahead and
But-
again they're trying to get him fired. So
either way.
You're
I mean,
just taking whatever.
I mean, it's scary.
That's
Both
right.
these guys are. They're still cartoonish to me, and I don't think that's creepy. What would be creepier is that if there are more
This is
realistic
wonderful.
versions.
I love this. It's like we're putting it in the
Balls in your court.
bed.
I feel like they really should have mentioned Mangle in this movie because Mangle was the creepiest mofo in that entire game. Either that or Puppet.
Once again, I will go with the HVAC inaccuracy here because you don't have vents like that in hallways, and it doesn't look like that. But it plays out well on camera.
No crap.
Weird.
Did the cupcake close the door?
Something like that.
Yeah, see that. I was just about to mention that. I'm like, all right. So we led to believe the whole building sort of has a supernatural.
Oh,
edge
there's
to it.
Foxy,
And he even
the
does.
not so cuddly animatronic.
And he even does like the humming that he does in the game, the dum dee dum dum thing. Yeah.
Oh, does he do?
Yeah, he does. You can hear that sound when he's about to start running full speed at you.
Now I know
You
they
gotta close the door
needed.
before he comes.
Now I know they needed a body count, obviously, for the movie because you got to have people die in a horror movie.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish that she got away.
What do you
Maybe
mean?
they could have utilized her some because she ultimately. I won't say she's that bad of a person compared to everyone else. You know.
Let me get this straight. The kids just they can show up to people, obviously.
That's never happened in the game, but
Okay.
Okay, so
we've
then I
only
guess you
ever
can say the
seen
house
their
is haunted.
animatronic
Pretty much.
forms.
You could say the place is haunted to a point.
The most you could ever hear from them is at least their voice, but they don't even show their voice in the game that much.
The parts room.
Hmm.
Who's that?
I don't remember him being in the game.
I don't know. There may
In
have been
fact, any-
something about that. I think the lore video that
No.
mentioned him.
Any of the backstage characters that are like, aren't the main four or whatever, I haven't seen in the game unless it's from Custom Nights. Custom Nights is basically
Why in the
like,
world are you going
mods
to
or
look
whatever.
into this thing?
See, that's the other thing. They kill her in such a ridiculous way because would you do this?
So when I saw this, I immediately thought Alien. So I thought that thing was gonna come out,
Yeah, a little retractable kind of.
Yep.
mouth.
eat her face off or something.
Which would have probably been better, to be honest. Dang.
as
Whoa!
cool as that looks, I feel like it would have been better if it was.
He's got the VHS holder thing on top of his ear.
We need more cracking noises.
Now, this is probably shot on a sound stage. It's probably not a real house. But
Yeah, so you can hear it when she drops it on the table. Metal.
I love the lighting. Though. Looks very natural.
They really do set up their relationship very well.
It's believable, which you don't get a lot in movies nowadays.
Yeah.
The actors are usually so far off from one another that you can't imagine them being, whatever, brother, sister, husband, wife, whatever.
Womp womp.
Cigarettes.
We've all had those those family members that
Mhm.
smell that way. We do. You smell like booze and cigarettes
And it doesn't help with their
and
beer.
bad life choices.
This is great. Gross. You don't get to hear that word enough in movies anymore, especially by kids. Yeah. Hmm.
Freddy's. I know what they are, like it's written on the bottle. Newsflash, two whackouts from every block of Freddy door. Accident or not, you're liable. It's called criminal negligence.
I did like one little curse word in there.
No,
Not one F bomb.
that's fine.
Wow.
It works for what it works for. What?
Oh yeah, they never do they? They never.
What's the
They don't
cursing?
curse.
Yeah,
Oh,
but-
only the bad guy. Like he says a couple curse words
Yeah.
before he dies.
Oh.
And again, another thing I really appreciate about this movie is that they went out of their way to have the type of locations you don't see in movies much. Even, for example, if you take like the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, what do? They set it in like the most well-to-do areas, very well-off, privileged people. It's just cool to see regular surroundings for a horror film.
There's this theory that we can't forget things. Basically, it's every single
Our cat is currently trying to sabotage our recording. A cat that any other time would never come around us. We could be watching a movie without recording, and she
Yep.
would stay away.
We wouldn't even see her. But she's in here biting things and
Feels the need to be part of the first session.
go back to that scene.
Use a little ASMR in the background. Doesn't hurt nobody.
doesn't need to be ASMR.
I mean, if it's
He's from
She was on You, the TV series You, the first season of it, and a bunch of like little independent things. She's a pretty good actress, so I like her.
yeah, like you said, I like the casting.
Like you buy that there's chemistry between them. You know, you get the idea that even though we find out later she obviously has motives going on.
Issue.
Her own
That-
issues,
she's got trauma
trauma
issues.
too. But they work off each other really well, I think.
Welcome.
You suck this. I swear to God. You would never come around me, and right now we're in our living room watching this, and our cat that never has anything to do with me suddenly wants to come up and love me.
sure.
What's up, Lala?
Seems like she'd be from Grey's Anatomy.
You look at him, man. He clears it up. This is a really good scene on his part,
Oh yeah.
and something I'm gonna interject in here. It's kind of cool to see a horror film not outwardly talk about religion and God, but the fact that he mentions grace and everything, I think is really cool. And again, he delivers that line really well. I paid money for this pills.
But no sleeping because it's important.
Or-
Keep playing with the spiralizer.
yeah, I see that. I wonder if that was a production design thing or if it was actually written into the script. How specific they were about what she was doing.
You understand?
I understand.
It's not a vacation, okay? You're not here to have fun.
Look at her. She just seems like, so this is great.
Delusion children.
It got tore up.
Yeah, I need to research. I want to know if this was an actual set that
It
they
is.
built or they incorporated like an existing restaurant.
Oh no, I think it's like an actual full-on like building.
Mhm.
Considering people have actually been to the filming spot.
Oh, did the people on YouTube or whatever show
Oh.
pictures of them, or they went and took pictures or whatever?
You TikTokers and stuff. Go there.
Now Mike knows that he's got to clean all the mess.
And he did it. He did it. No, I could never be a security guard if I had to do that. I'd leave the mess.
What is that? Oh,
Second here, he's like, doggone it.
turn me around.
No, thank you.
That was neat. That was a good show.
It's funny how they mention BB, but not Puppy. Or Mangle.
Yes, 5 nights keep we hear you. Pay attention.
Mm.
Have the cleaning montage.
Yeah, it's nicely edited.
Montage. That's fine. You're right. It is. It all works within the grand scheme of things. I think showing how responsible he is definitely. Oh, I say that, and then he's like, "I'm gonna go to sleep."
See, I like how he has this whole, procedure that he does. I like
Yeah.
that. Again, to me, it's echoes of Nightmare on Elm Street. I really feel that. It would not surprise me if the creator of the game, or at least one of the writers, did not bring that up continually.
I'm sure it was the writer.
That's cute. I like how she leaves the shoes outside of her tent.
As she should. She's not a heathen.
Well, not just the fact that she leaves them out there. She leaves them so neat. I think it's cool. A lot of kids don't have your shoes on in there. Okay, fine. Kick.
Like our very
I'm
own
looking
daughter.
at the one to the right.
I'm not neat.
No,
Comes home, kicks off her shoes. One goes flying past my head. The other goes flying past the cat.
It's funny. She reminds me of the actress who played. She's on Walking Dead. She was the one that she had, leads a group of survivors outside of that one city in the junkyard. Do you remember her? And she ends up making a deal with. Oh no, I think you had stopped watching by then. But she had the one zombie that looked like a gladiator almost.
Yeah.
You remember that? Yeah. That's who she reminds me.
You can see it, so yeah.
That's wild.
They look high. Like, not gonna lie, with the red eyes, they kind of look.
That's really neat. To have a transition between the real terror going on back to
The
the
cutting
screen.
is excellent in this.
Those kids, right?
I just noticed that the car in the background when he turned was
Mhm.
probably the what you call it car
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the
kidnapper.
kidnapper's vehicle.
Kids really do that back then. Drawing in the dirt with sticks.
Do that now? You act like nobody draws on the ground with sticks anymore.
What do you mean anymore? I've never done it myself. That sounds boring.
Well, this kid's dead. He's got nothing else to do.
That doesn't scare people. Woo!
What will you give us?
Anything. I'll give you anything you want.
That's
brain
cool.
trap.
I hate that drawing because the eyes actually look real. Like the pupils looked oddly developed.
Yep.
I hated the scene so much.
Ain't nothing to see
Yeah,
here.
excuse you.
Yeah. How is that not scary? That's scary.
Oh my god.
Even for a kid who's like, look, they're friends. Nah.
Oh my gosh, this was so stupid. Though.
All of our cats are gonna make noises now. I wonder if it was intentional for their feet to sound like RoboCop. That's what it sounds like.
I'm sorry, but the cliche of her making friends with the animatronics is actually killing me.
It's
inside.
part of the storyline.
It's out of character.
No,
For
not out
the
of character.
game.
It's very out of character. I don't think any of the animatronics in the game was braiding each other's hair with Mike.
She is currently our eyes into the world of the animatronics. She's going to give us all the information. She's going to give us their names, so that way for the rest of the movie we know who we're dealing with. Yeah, the lighting there, you can tell the film's shot digitally. I don't know how they did it, but they make Mike look like he's never taken it, like he doesn't take baths or something. He really looks grimy all the time, which I know is on purpose because he's tired. He's always exhausted.
Does she not smell the odor coming from the animatronics?
Oh, stop.
No, literally, there's dead bodies in there. Got Toby's.
And that was Bonnie, right? She
Yeah.
gave it to the one that terrified the creator in his nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fear us.
Mm.
See those shingles on the side of that building?
Yeah.
That's got some really bad stuff in it called asbestos. They're outlawed now.
Mm.
So like if you were total non-movie talker, if you needed to cover that with siding, yeah. Sure. Yeah, those old things.
And then here comes the realization.
You need
She's
more.
seen these kids
Yeah.
from his dream.
Why is there only 4 on that drawing then? I could swear there's 5 kids.
There's 5 in his dream.
Why is there 5 in the
Here's the most grilled cheese sandwich ever.
That is burnt. I saw that in theaters and I was like, bruh, you burnt that poor sandwich.
whatever production person was responsible.
Oh
for
my
that.
God. They're like, this is the only bread we have on the set. Because she crunches into it. It's
You can hear
overpriced.
it and you hear it hit the plate too. It's like, dog, that's rough. The caterer or someone messed that up.
Or maybe that was on purpose.
Maybe it was just
He
a real.
can't cook, right?
Yeah, I'd like to think maybe they went in that deep into it, but I think it was just like, really? And they're like, we're stuck with it. Okay. All right. And it's probably the same sandwich. They probably sat there for hours while they shot the scene. So.
Yes. You used to have a brother, right? Here.
This is where we actually heard his name. Garrett.
Yeah, but for some of us, we're like, no, his name is Garrett.
Derek. Derek.
Garrett?
Derek. Derek.
Who's that name Derek?
Garrick.
I hear what I want to hear.
Selective hearing.
I heard our oldest name. His name is Derek.
And I make movies.
And I like the
He
that
does
he makes films.
short.
No, there's a difference. No, he makes films.
Oh, he doesn't even.
Yeah,
call
yeah.
He doesn't like to call
Movies imply pop culture.
Short film.
Yeah.
He makes short film because he hasn't made a feature yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Anything else? You just think really hard. Okay?
I like the production design a lot. It reminds me of the Black Phone. No?
Oh, Black Phone.
Just- Yeah, I mean, it's just a very
I
believable,
love that movie.
it's a very believable design. Yeah, we're doing the Jaws thing, just slower.
I wonder what her trauma is.
Mm-hmm.
How are you mixed into all of this?
Always with the trauma.
Well, like I
Yeah,
said-
but this is done well. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Hoping this movie isn't canon. Please be a different universe.
Stop.
Wait.
I was expecting something so much more grand to happen when she went up to them. Like getting her head bit off or something.
Oh, you stop.
It's a dark game with dark lore.
Yes, but they're her friends right now.
It's to be big, so we can all fit inside.
This is all very fun and exciting. It's great, and it could be dangerous, and we want some ground rules, right? And that's what do you think?
I think we could use the tables for the fort. I'd be like,
I was so happy to hear this song used because I've always liked this song. Remember the music video for this? It was a bowling ball. It's rolling down, like the camera's behind the bowling ball as it's going around all these places.
Unfortunately, I don't watch a lot of music videos.
Well, it was your grunge period, so I
I
figured you
still didn't watch a lot of music videos.
But it's always cool to hear a song in a movie that doesn't get used at all. So.
You see, this is
That is so great.
it's cheesy.
They all fit. Yay.
I'll come with you.
I think he does a really good job at kind of pushing his agenda.
Mm-hmm.
He's really trying to find out what had happened to his brother or their brother to the point of borderline obsession
Spraying lots.
because Vanessa asked him, no more sleeping on the job. Be alert, pay attention. Whoop.
There's spring lots. They're on all the old.
Now, watching the movie the second time, it is kind of funny that you're going to leave something like that floating around for.
That's why he says what he says.
Now, speaking of this being our second viewing, where do you think her head is at this point? Because her whole job is to do what, essentially?
Hide the
Keep people
truth.
away from there.
Right.
Hide the truth. That's what it. Oh.
So at this point, where do you think her head's at? Do you think she already really is? Because if you're listening to our commentary, you've probably already seen the movie, hopefully, because it wouldn't make any sense to do so otherwise. But do you think at this point she's already starting to side with, I need to help Mike and Abby get out of this situation? Do you think
Yes.
that's where she's at right now?
Because unfortunately, her past has got too much of a grip on her. Like she says, she's of no use.
A piece there.
Yes. So she's just trying to protect them and get them to safety as quickly as possible.
See how that's in your business.
I'm telling you, you need to let it go.
How are you?
Just trying to help.
I think she's lying to herself too.
All right, now I will say this is the one needle drop I didn't need because this is probably one of the most overused songs
You didn't need any.
in films. No, the dancing was fine. I just didn't like the song with Trixie. But I guess it is a song you would find on a cheesy jukebox in a pizza place.
I hate the fact that there was so many memes about the FNAF movie being all, oh yeah, together we are FNAF, some cheesy stuff like that. I hate the fact that it's like remotely close to it. I was expecting Bonnie to do something like bite her head off.
You can't stop with the biting the head off.
Well, do you know the reason why?
Yeah, I watched the lore. I watched Mike's brother have his head. You know,
Yeah, there was no bite of 87. Why not?
Just go home and take care of your sister.
What are you so afraid of?
she's taller than
She is.
her.
I saw your eyes, you were terrified.
You can do whatever you want with your life. Bring Abby back here again.
And they make it a point to show her and her height when back on when they're the storage room.
Yeah.
You could tell she was a lot taller. And in this shot, they're like mid. They're equal.
Now you have the next bit of conflict. And unfortunately, Mike's gonna make a deal with the devil. It's funny that he's got two phones in such a small house. I love how excited she gets when she mentions the bacon.
Smell bacon. She smells the bacon.
I think even vegetarians would agree that the smell of bacon is amazing.
Oh, there's my face.
Uh-oh.
We'll have a seat, all right? Abby, we're going to get you to sit down. Split it to you, okay? I promise you, this is not what you think it is.
I hate you. Hate you, Mike.
And this is rough. The very pictures that are mentioned earlier in the movie where he's always there and a centerpiece. Abby goes Sharpie crazy. You're out.
She reminds me of you. Always with the temper. Well, when she calms down, can you tell her I'm sorry? And I'll be like soup.
Like, there's a larger conversation that needs to happen.
Oh my God, the way she delivers that line, she's had to be around people of privilege or something, because just her tone and her mannerisms. I'm like, oh my God, you're you. And she has very little dialogue, but you can paint the image in your head of how she probably was when their mom and dad were alive and together and everything. She was probably just always sticking her nose in things, trying to one up other family members. I love it. I was just trying to give you my recommendation to help sleep.
What happens when you have a one-track mind? He's obsessed. He's got this obsession.
See, I love the ritual though. I love the bird tape. I love the poster. The fact that he has to put on the headphone. I just think that's so great. To me, there's just a lot of thought into it.
I get really uncomfortable with really close face shots like
That is an
this.
extremely close-up shot. I will give you that. You can almost see his nose here, but there is reasoning behind it.
I know. It works, but in any other scenario, I think I'd be like,
But I am glad they get in on people in this movie. I think that it's a beautiful thing, in my opinion, because a lot of filmmakers just do that. Oh, we're gonna do the wide shot the whole time.
It does celebrate them as actors, which is great.
And I think this is a really great scene, the way this plays out, the way he ultimately gives in and everything.
Oh yeah,
But that snaps back out of it.
yes. It got some really great kid actors.
Oh yeah, man. I kind of just want to slap this kid. It's like,
That's what I'm saying. He looks so slappable. I hate his face.
but that's the point. Is what good actors can do. They can make you hate them at that moment.
Well, there's that and just the fact that he looks slappable in general.
No, stop.
Yeah, no, he does.
He's like, oh, go to your family.
Every night. Be together. You said you basically wanted
That's great. See, and you see it in his face, man. It's like he knows he doesn't want to give up his sister, but there's his little brother.
Got such chubby cheeks.
Yeah, he does. And it's not just he'll get to be with his brother. He gets his mom and dad again.
I'm sorry.
He gets the childhood that he was robbed of.
Yeah. And even if it is the same moment replayed and replayed, look at him. He's just in turmoil.
Why does everybody except for Josh look so slappable? I'm so
You're ruining the scene.
I don't know who that kid
And
is.
they're like, I know. They're like,
Yep,
we got him.
We got him.
The fact they actually look similar is actually insane.
I mean,
That's cool.
they're.
Yeah, but usually the casting and stuff isn't.
Well, no, I think they did that on purpose. Like the younger brother's got curls, she's got curls.
Don't smile like that.
See, and I love how just that momentary, okay, yeah.
He was weak for that second.
Oh,
Yep.
that's all they needed.
Yep.
And I'm just like, damn.
Now they're gonna take her. He's like, nope.
It just goes to show you can't trust evil because they take everything away at the same moment. You don't even leave me, my family.
Look up feet.
Tell you right now, I want to see him play like a cop in a movie, like just some bad
Oh,
action movie kind of thing. Yeah. And I mean, like a 1970s style Serpico. That is wild.
He's getting wrapped around in his sleep. This the worst.
But Fritz had the worst blow.
Was that the one on the side?
Foxy.
Oh,
Foxy.
The one with the hook.
there's something about getting cut in the back of the leg.
It's
Anywhere
like
on the
the death
leg.
cemetery.
Yeah.
What is it? Gage?
Gage,
that
yeah.
God bless it. Yep.
And there's Mike in the same machine as before. as
Oh
the,
no.
Security person
The
before.
face eater.
So I take it that's just the demise of every security person until he
This
makes the
man
escape.
has some quick thinking because
There you go, quick editing. Oh, that was so close.
I forgot to do the thing at the end of your thing.
Aw.
Oh,
There she is.
ha ha.
It's like, do you know those guys though?
But
He's like, those are just dead
they're
people
dead
now.
people. It's terrifying.
The cupcake guy. Got his face eaten off by cupcake. This reminds me of a lot of other things, but it's really well done here too.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the production design looking like Saw,
Yes, there you go.
which if the game had any element like that, then obviously you had seen Saw by that time.
Uh-oh.
Can't stay in there forever, you know?
Impossible for this woman just to be nice.
With their floral blouse.
I know. Oh my god! If you could dress any older, Chia Pet. That was a thing. That Chia Pets were huge. They had all sorts of Chia Pet. Chia Pet was still being sold when Walking Dead got started.
I
It's a
saw
Walking Dead
I
Chia
saw
Pet.
Bob Ross Cheetah.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Look at that. It's great.
Funny thing is, I don't think I've ever seen Freddy like that in the games.
So this is a version of him that you haven't seen?
Yeah, so I mean, he's been. This one's bad, but I've seen badder. Like I can't remember if
pretty
it
neat.
was in. Yeah, it was FNAF 4. He looked much worse in FNAF 4.
So he said not Freddy. What did he say?
Not Freddy, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, you weren't paying attention.
No, I was paying attention all right. I just can't hear him.
How do we get there?
Corey Kitch, I love Corey.
This particular sequence made my daughter giggle just like with excitement.
'Cause
She's
it's
like,
Corey.
"Yay!" That was a great jump on his part.
He always does those kind of jumps in his videos.
That's wonderful.
He needs to.
See, but that's great. Talented people, they're part of your little YouTube
The
world and
family.
everything, but that's
Yeah,
great.
he needs to pick up on a spooky scary Sunday though. It's becoming a spooky scary Sunday at this point.
You're speaking an alien language here. What
Well,
are you talking about?
He has like this little.
I get the idea. I'm joking.
Oh my god! Thank you.
Badly hurt.
So he didn't get his face chopped off like the previous security guard. He was saved.
No, he saved himself.
No, she saved him. Just she opened the door.
Oh. I thought you meant like the trap thing.
Foxy coming out.
I don't think. Actually, no, I can't say that. Game Mike is very coordinated to do everything, so I don't know why I'm surprised.
And you know they're capable of, and you didn't take anything. He's in danger. My grade. They asked me for happy. I said yes. Made a mistake. I tried to fix it. What do they want with my sister?
They want to make her like them.
And this is where we get the idea that she knows more than she's letting on. How do you know all of this? But he doesn't actually go in with her.
No, he just disappears.
Because he's done his job, I suppose. He brought her there, so our big bad can go in and do what he needs to.
Oh, so the blonde kid is Charlie.
It's a little confusing because Charlie's a girl.
Well,
In
in
the
the game, but we're saying here that people
I
say-
know, but like I can't see him being anybody else
Okay.
unless he's a newer
Because
character.
that's the other Freddy, right?
Well, Golden Freddy is controlled by Charlie,
Okay.
but Charlie is never like the leader of the group.
That's why there's only 4.
Charlie's barely ever involved.
That's why she only draws 4 of them, because she's never encountered him before, right?
Nope.
You get your own little spotlight, Foxy. You're not part of the band yet.
I was kind of wondered about that. I'm like, why are you all segregated over there? All right, I'm going to use this opportunity to criticize some podcasters and YouTubers I heard today. I really think we're in this weird stage where people overstate movies so much, because 2 of the reviews I heard today, they literally call this the worst film they've seen this year.
Really?
And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Have you not seen some of the crap that's come out? This is very well written. It's very well directed. It does everything it should do just as a horror film. I can't say as an adaptation of the game because I hear my daughter's conflicts with it. But as a film,
Yeah.
It has a beginning, a middle, and end. Everything makes sense
I
in the
like,
story that they're telling. The acting is very good. So just to have so much hate for it is really remarkable to me. How they just want to. I mean, there's been other
Okay.
Blumhouse movies that are dreadful that have come out over the last
there's
year.
that, but it's in the eyes of people who have actually, like, if they've had full on expectations from what they saw in the game from this. So obviously they've had a different version.
But that's my exact point,
Of
though.
what they-
The people I listened to were not fans of the game. They were judging it as a film, and they still hated it. And it's just remarkable to me because if you take a movie like *Malignant*, which you watched with me,
Mhm.
that's a horrible movie to me. It's just not a good flick. It's not enjoyable. It didn't do anything for me with the acting. I wasn't moved. I wasn't thrilled or anything. Yet more people like that than this, and I still feel this is a better movie.
I feel like they don't like this just because.
Third music.
I mean, there's quite a bit of multiple reasons. I mean, even if like someone's not a fan of the FNAF game, I suspect that they suspected that it'd be a much darker movie.
And we got the cool little suit 'em up scene. You know the rules now. You know how to fight them.
You owe it to me, you owe it to them.
I can't. If he's there,
All right. I'm going to bring up in the beginning when Mike says his last name.
Schmidt.
Yes. And there was a little twinkle or something in
And we'll
Yeah.
No, don't say that.
Steve or whatever.
Steve. In the game, I think it. I'm not sure if it was in the game or whatever, but yeah, there was like a little realization.
because
We don't
obviously when you
explain
see the picture that she hands him
Mhm.
of her, and she has a very similar airplane to his little brother's.
Yeah.
See, on the second viewing now, and I see that, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. Remember, we can have spoilers sooner.
Ugh.
There's a good likelihood that people who are watching this
Age back in accuracy again. Age
Oh my
back in
goodness.
accuracy.
Yes, yes.
So
And you're not gonna have a rat.
the thing with him having that realization that this Mike is Garrett's older brother.
I love this part.
How come Bonnie didn't see him?
I love the way he back to the concert.
See, I don't like how it's slightly comedic.
It's the point.
well,
It's-
Five Nights at Freddy's was not exactly meant to be funny, other than like the little bits of comedy and sister location with the weird little.
Remember what I told you, brother? You need to judge the film on what it is, not what you wanted it to be necessarily.
I mean, like obviously, but as a person who's viewed Five Nights at Freddy's before,
And this character's name again? Chi-Chi?
Chica,
Chica. There you go. I don't know why I keep wanting to do this.
Chica the chicken, she works in the kitchen
Makes sense.
and then she eats kids. That's it.
And who's that character?
That's not a character I know of.
That's so terrifying. That's horrible. Like, sorry, kid. Gotta be done.
They're gonna have spring locked in.
You.
Squint my eyes at you menacingly.
You know how much creepier it'd be if the animatronic eyes weren't there and you could actually see the person's eyes behind it. Just saying.
I thought that that's like the ballerina, isn't it?
What do you mean the ballerina? You mean
The
Ballora?
machine.
Yeah,
But
the one that they were trying to stick her into.
that's not Ballora. Ballora's from she's like far from here. And Ballora is like that's not a ballerina, that's like it's got a sombrero and stuff. It looks like a baby.
Oh, okay. I would have thought that the cupcake was doing more damage, considering that guy's face.
Yeah, I would say that's probably the one thing that
Looks like
on
it's
second viewing,
super
I'm like,
sharp.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where's all the sharp teeth that are supposed to retract out? So that's Foxy.
But you could also take it from the point of view that maybe they don't want to hurt them right now, because of Abby to a point. This is cool. It was a great shot.
Oh, he's not Abby, and he broke off the
Yeah, I like the wide shot.
This reminds me of other movies where they like get away right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
They did that in Toy Story.
What
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. It's like, how can you not?
It's like, how did you pass in front if they're walking towards you?
I mean, at least Jurassic Park showed how they got away from those velociraptors looking around the corner. Hey, did they get open doors?
Or was it Toy Story 3? Or that giant baby? Because that's the one with Lotso.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, the baby's walking towards them and then looks over the edge of it and they're not there.
No.
But they're scurried off in some other direction.
It's like,
And then, yup. Like, see? grass in front of the thing and it didn't see you.
But it's an animatronic. It doesn't have peripheral vision, I don't think. It's gotta be
Whatever. Well, how do you explain a Toy Story thing then?
I can't.
Let's
All right
see.
then. All right.
can't speak for Pixar movies.
Regardless, it was still a really good scene.
But it going into the balls was cool because it's kind of like apocalypse
This
now.
is the only design I like.
Look at that. That is freaking great.
Ah.
Yeah, Springtrap.
Yeah,
Who
this
doesn't
is-
like Springtrap?
But what I love here is how you realize how fucking big he is. Because
Now
he's hunched down.
I know
and
to get under the archway.
That is great.
Is that what he looks like in the game? Knife?
Yes, in the game, but in Help Wanted, his
Oh.
costume is.
That's what got me.
Yeah, you're that.
Because as my daughter knows, I don't like things running at me. So when he ran at dude, I was like, oh my god, I would have just died right there. I was like, oh my god.
I thought I scared him actually.
Yep. She runs at her father.
In the dark too.
Out of the darkness at me. It's like
I used to do that in cosplay.
And he'll squeal just like that.
yeah, very much.
Girl, why are you? Oh my god.
She's concerned.
Because she's still concerned. It's still her friend. She's a child.
But you
What?
know
She used to
what?
be a child. Okay.
I know.
Yeah, I don't think I feel sympathy for that mofo. I'd laugh at him. You know, in fact, I wouldn't even be in the situation. You want to know why?
All right, let's talk about symmetry for a second. The fact that you have so many little nods to Scream, even down to him saying the whole monologuing, I killed your brother and now I will kill you.
And the knife.
It's so
And the
great.
knife swipe.
This is coming up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Niobe just giggled and squealed in the theaters.
Now,
Here
to
it
me,
comes.
that is so great, so wonderful. I don't. See, and to me, this is just such a great villain because you want, even though I know we didn't need him earlier in the movie, and there's a reveal.
You may have forgotten your loyalties, but I'm sure you. Help me clean up the mess that you created.
He does a lot of stew there in some respects, like
Yeah.
with the pointing with the knife.
Ooh.
Back to his roots.
Bonnie's cock of the head was cool there. Like, wait a minute.
The other pregnant for your friends. Show them what they can.
One job. One. Keep him in the dark. Kill him if he got too close.
That's 2 jobs.
That is so great how that comes back around.
Uh-huh. Because that's what he says to him.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. How can you say it's bad writing if it's good?
Wow.
Just freaking be entertained. This is great.
Aww.
That's rough. Now I will say I wish they let her die. I understand not wanting to kill characters sometimes, but you need,
There has to be a weight to it.
yeah,
There has to
exactly.
be some heaviness to her death.
See, I just think that's wonderful. The fact that this little child takes control, man, it's great.
She helped him remember.
Mm.
Flip it on, Mike. Flip it on.
Yeah, see, everything just comes back around.
Oh, big bad money. Oh,
Yeah, and you're really confronted with, oh, God, it is. It's really horrible.
he's a child murderer.
Yeah. It's kind of like that thing that in the first Nightmare on Elm Street, you're just like, oh, God, you're a child killer. You're horrible.
Not a molester. He's just a
No,
killer.
no,
That's
Freddy.
what
Freddy.
Freddy
Yeah.
originally,
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, Freddy's.
He's
yeah.
a pedophile.
They let you take your time.
Gotcha.
Really, Kilo?
Just let her do her thing.
Our cat is behind her head.
I feel like the Springwalk scene could have been so much gorier.
For PG-13, though,
Where's
it's
all
pretty
the blood and
intense.
guts? Where's all the screaming and genuine pain?
Because it's PG-13, George.
So what?
You can't do that in PG-13.
Why are they trying to keep it PG-13? It's FNAF isn't made for kids in general.
Just because
See, I
we
love
allow
it. He puts the mask back on. I love that.
Reincarnation.
The building knows.
Yeah.
Because when you said that, the place is haunted,
Mm.
it is. Because it's not just the children.
I like Freddy screaming there, but it's cool. And they have a House of Usher thing going on. The whole place falling apart, which is cool.
Keep doing it. Yeah, I will. It's not that hard. What do you want for dinner? Which spaghetti? You gotta choose. Which is
They won't go.
you gotta have both.
Buffets aren't a thing yet.
Spaghetti
Excuse us.
with meat.
Or a sandwich. Oh my god.
She's still thinking of the grilled. So.
Yeah, it was horrible. That was like solid.
Maybe it just mirrored his dismay. And so he just burnt the crap out of that sandwich.
Or maybe it's the fact that he is not suited for raising his child. For
Don't
raising
you
his brother.
dare. You better hush.
Sister.
He is
Sister.
trying.
Lack of culinary skill
He
does
is
not equate to
trying.
good parenting.
I mean, like, obviously he's trying, but
Hey,
the-
if something happened to Mom and I, you'd be starving because your brothers would, God knows, it would be ramen all the time.
Well, that's not true. Caleb has blossomed in his culinary escapade.
You guys
Now,
act
I'm
like
talking
they
about-
starved me.
Not intentionally.
They wouldn't starve. They
It'd be
actually,
tacos all the time.
mind you, they care about me.
With Derek. With Derek, it'd be Taco Bell all the time.
It'd be like divorced parenting. Caleb takes me for Tuesdays and
That's cool.
Wednesdays, and Derek takes me for like Thursdays and Fridays.
Oh no, the spaghetti and meatballs look banging. Looks alright.
Because he's okay now.
Still looks tired though. Still looks
Oh,
great.
well, it's only been a few weeks. He's still like
He's still got-
recuperating. He got the crap beat out of him by spirit kids, okay?
You never know.
Those are those old school chairs.
Yeah, they're,
I think that's actually an office chair. That's not like
yeah. I don't think it's
a dining table chair.
And then in the game, the place burns down. Now we have to show that.
But I kind of like this. I like the fact that they're prolonging his end. Is kind of cool. Kind of stylish.
Well, he's not going to be able to last past 3 days if he doesn't have water. But I guess it depends. And that's the end.
All right, and that was Five Nights at Freddy's.
Why does this song sound like a Bendy song?
Because this is made by the Living Tombstone. This is not an actual. This is not like a producer song. Like this was actually made during like the whole Bendy and the Ink Machine, all these basics,
Through that
all that
period.
stuff.
Okay,
That,
so
that
they're
was
the
like the
same
golden
people.
golden period.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so they literally don't have the names for the kids. You just call them Ghost Child.
Ghost children.
Yeah.
Ghost
I
children.
said child, so not
You did. You
children.
said Ghost Child.
Ignore that. And oh my god.
Yep.
Mid-credit stinger. Nothing.
Read this.
No, I'm sorry.
BB, take
So we did him 3
three.
times. What is that YouTuber's name?
Corey Kenshin.
Corey Kenshin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to look him up.
Been
That's
doing
fun.
YouTube ever since he was a wee high schooler.
Really? Okay, so
Yeah.
he started when
He's
the original
been-
YouTube.
Yeah, he's been here for a while.
Yeah. I listened to a lot of podcasters that were on YouTube when it first started. Oh wow, Jim Henson's Creature Shop. That's cool. I did not
That's
notice
why
that.
they look good. Oh, somebody a fan of this song?
Nope.
Yeah, in the theater, we
Oh.
looked over and our daughter was singing it. Like I think we heard other kids in the audience too responding to it.
Because obviously everybody knows these types of songs. If you're
Okay.
a Knack fan,
So, just to put this out there, when we watched it in theaters, it was kind of a mixed crowd. There was a lot of children, surprisingly,
Toddlers.
but also a decent amount of parents with them, or just
Older
older
people.
people. And during the beginning, it was kind of rowdy. You could hear people still talking, possibly being on their phones. But towards the middle, it got silence. Like literally, everybody was paying attention to the movie. So I think that's a really good indicator that, again, it's just a well-made movie. Because to be able to hush a theater full of people who are eating, drinking, and
Especially kids.
yeah, exactly, with kids, that's kind of a good indicator. Again, just speaks for itself.
I agree.
they played the music box, but it was never ever included in the movie.
That's okay. Because again,
Somebody chose to throw in at that
Yeah.
point.
Even this is the second time watching it. I mean, it's all right, but but it's not really.
the thing that I wanted to bring up was, if this is meant to all take place in the same area-ish kind of a deal,
Not one to
Why-
place in like 1997, to be honest.
why would the killer, Matthew Lillard,
William
why would he stay in an area that he abducts children in and kills them?
See, but you were asking other questions like that today too about, well, how did he know that?
Yeah, because
there's certain
I didn't
things,
realize that he knew Garrett's last name, or at least his family or whatnot, in order to recognize that Mike is Garrett's brother, because there's a realization in the beginning when he looks at his name, and then he kind of looks at him. I guess you're like,
But isn't that
Oh,
enough
okay.
though? I mean, 'cause
Don't catch the first time you watch it.
if there's no worries for him, if he doesn't feel that the police are onto him, or he's been, on the edge of being caught or pursued or anything, it almost adds to his power trip, because
Okay.
I get to walk around and,
that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So you actually saying that now does make sense to me, to where, okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
it's so wild that they shot in Louisiana.
Oh yeah,
That's crazy.
Go ahead, Louisiana.
I still think they could have somehow included the original plot in the script, although.
I think it's very cool that the creator of the game actually has the copyright on the movie, which is something that goes to show you, if you have something that a studio wants, you can wheel and deal and not whine later that you didn't get the money you wanted. So.
Well, it was made by Scott Cawthon.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna go see it.
Okay, now you said that you wanted to say some things afterward.
Differences and stuff. Well,
This is your time to shine.
honestly, it's the only thing that was remotely similar about the original games or whatever is Michael and William, because they're original characters. So in the original game, Michael was actually William's son, if I'm correct. Yeah, it is. And there was no Garrett or Abby, but you did have a brother and a sister. I think it's Evan or something. Evan and Elizabeth. And the way Garrett got sent away or whatever was not the way that he did in the game. In the game, actually, it was Michael's fault that he died, because when he was a teenager, he wanted to mess with his little brother, so he put the child's head into, one of the animatronics' mouths, and it chopped down, because water can actually trigger the animatronics sometimes, as you saw in the thing or whatever. Well, it was paired with electricity. But anyway, there's that. And since Evan cried a lot, the tears literally got into the animatronic and it caused it to chomp down on his head. And pretty much Michael has had to live with that guilt like all of his life, including.
So Michael shoved his brother into this animatronic's mouth.
And
because he was crying, his tears caused it to chomp down, killing him.
Yeah. And I thought that was a bit more gruesome than Garrett's actual death in the movie.
You don't see him die. You just see him being.
I'm
kidnapped.
assuming that he died, because
he did die, but you don't see it. It's off camera.
Yeah, but so Garrett's death was more realistic, but Evan's death was more impacting on Michael's, character development.
Because it was his fault.
It was his fault that his brother died.
Okay.
Elizabeth wasn't really mentioned in the FNAF games until Sister Location, because I think it was Michael who worked in the newer, pizzeria or whatever. And his sister, obviously Elizabeth, was actually the soul of one of the animatronics in there, Circus Baby. And William had made his wife into an animatronic, which was Ballora. So pretty much like he was being hunted down by his own family, despite Full-Time Freddy and Full-Time Foxy and whatever.
Who was being hunted down?
Michael.
Oh.
Or the person you're playing as. As far as I know, every single person you play as in the game is Michael, or just a worker in general.
So, does Michael know that it's his family?
I mean, I don't think he would know. Practically not. Plus, Circus Baby never really told him that he was that she was in fact Elizabeth. But the only thing is that you remember the scooping thing I mentioned?
Yes.
That's the way Michael died.
Hmm.
There's another animatronic in Sister Location named Ennard. I think it's Ennard or whatever, but
Yeah.
Ennard is like a mutation of all of the animatronics together, and when Michael died, he took his place inside of him.
Oh, so he becomes an art.
Mm-hmm. And then he ends up barfing his bones out onto the street.
Okay.
Yeah, so Michael dies.
In Sister Location.
Sister Location. And then from there, I can't really remember what happens from Sister Location.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as I thought, it sounds like the lore of the video game was
They
very-
could have simplified it, or they could have added their own additions or changes to it, but this was just completely manipulated and changed entirely.
We're
Well,
fine with
I'll
it.
just go back to the fact that the creator of the game worked on it, so I think to a degree there's at least a certain level of respect for the material that someone who didn't work on the game or have a connection to the game probably wouldn't have had.
I
But
mean, obviously, yeah, but still,
so
it doesn't mean I can't really not like what he had done with it.
yes, and the debate goes on. Well, thank you very much for listening to this episode of Film Fury Trax, and we'll see you on the next one.
Ooh. My voice hurts.